Welcome to the French Newfy. I'm Erin MacDonald. Today I want to show you how you can make something very simple with things that you actually have in your refrigerator and cupboard. And the one basic thing that I had going through school and college was these noodles, these packs of noodles. I'm sure every college student has them as well. So I'm just gonna add a bunch of things that I have in my refrigerator, and you'll see how quickly it'll turn into that familiar Vietnamese pho that everyone likes, and it's famous now everywhere. I just recently had it in the Philippines. So you can find these little restaurants, and you know, if you come home from work and you don't want to make a big meal, you can actually make a meal with a pack of noodles and some of the stuff you have in your fridge. So right away, I have my water, and the water is boiling. It's not completely boiled yet, so I'm going to get on to some of the ingredients that I have in my fridge. First of all, I have a couple of sprigs of asparagus left over from our meal last night. We had steak and asparagus, but there was quite a bit, so I have these left over. So just take off the ends. It's a great way not to waste. You'll find things, if you leave them, instead of throwing them out, you'll find a use for them the next day. So I'm just gonna get these chopped a little bit. So 1, 2, perfect. And add that to my plate later. And I also have some radishes, and I like radish. Radish are a little peppery, and I'm just gonna take off the top, I'm gonna take off the bottom, and a couple of leftover radishes. They're gonna be great in the soup. There you go, perfect. Push them off to the side as well. There you go, perfect. Now, before my water boils, what I wanna do is, they say that the base, or the one thing that you need to make this pho, or pho as they call it, is the broth. And you get these little packages that are inside the noodles. I know everyone's familiar with them. They're like the mystery pouch, but I'm gonna take it out, and I'm only gonna use one because I'm gonna add more flavor as I go, and you'll see. Let me just get that open before the water boils. And get that in. There we go. Now, aromatics is what builds this pho. So what I want to do is add some onions, and I have leftover onions. So I actually have some that were left over that were chopped, conveniently enough. I'm going to get that in as well, so that the broth begins to take on the onion and that packet, and some more things that I'm gonna add now. As well, fish sauce. And I know what you're thinking, fish sauce. Not everyone has fish sauce, but if you have fish sauce, you're in luck, because it goes excellent in here, and it's a really pantry staple of mine. I love fish sauce. You should try and incorporate it into a lot of your recipes. So get a nice amount, there's a lot of water in here, of the fish sauce. Again, with some soy sauce, and soy sauce is very popular in Asian cooking. I know lots of people have soy sauce in their pantry or their refrigerator. It's the same thing. You get about a tablespoon of the soy sauce down. So you can see how this is developing. We're getting some onion in there, we're getting some soy sauce, some fish sauce. All the flavors are really gonna be good. You're packing a punch into this once boring ramen pack of noodles. Again, we're going in with more. I have ginger. I always have ginger in my freezer. It's great because you can take it when you need it and just shred it right in. If you don't have the fresh ginger, maybe you have the dry ginger in your pantry as well, in the spice rack. So just get some of that ginger down into the aromatics. I can smell it already. Perfect. Keep going with that. I like lots of ginger in my broth of any kind. It packs such a punch. And then I'm gonna add some coriander, a little bit now and a little bit later, but the coriander, again, is really gonna lend to that broth. It's gonna be beautiful. A jalapeno. I have jalapenos all the time. If you don't have the fresh jalapeno, maybe you have a bottle of those pickled jalapenos, so you can use that as well. I'm just gonna make a couple of slices of these that are gonna go right on top of my broth. I like it spicy. Perfect. And I have some leftover tuna. So I'm gonna cut that as well, and I'm gonna add it at the end because the tuna is gonna cook up really, really fast. Now, You don't have to have tuna. You could have chicken. You might have leftover broth, pork. You could have beef. You can have any kind of protein. And if you're a vegetarian, just add vegetables. So you could have bok choy, some carrots. You can even add tomato to this. It's endless. So I'm gonna just slice off a little bit of that tuna, thinly slice it, because again, I'm gonna put it in right at the end. Very nice. Leftover tuna that I had. Can you imagine I had leftover tuna? But I did. So just a little bit. Slicing all the way. And something that I know most people have in their refrigerator are eggs. So a nice egg in this is really gonna add some nice texture and creaminess, and again, a nice hit of protein. So now I'm gonna get my noodles down into this simmering broth. It smells beautiful just like that. Get my pack of noodles down into my water. And I'm gonna make a big batch, so I'm actually gonna put in 2 today. Let's get that open. There we go. But because I added all the sauce, fish sauce, soy sauce, I'm not gonna add the second pack of the spices. You really don't need it. There's so much aromatics going on in there. Get that down into my beautiful broth. Now, just gonna give it a little tiny whirl. If you've ever made these noodles before, you know that they're gonna take minutes and they are going to be done. So, I have chili and I like chili. Everybody knows that. I don't think I could live without chili. So I'm gonna chop that up as well. And if you don't want as much heat, then of course, just leave it out. Get that going, just like that. Perfect. Now, the egg does need to be cooked, so we're gonna get the egg into it as well. I just have my 1 egg in the bowl. I'm gonna pour that in and start stirring it around, because I don't want 1 big egg. I actually want it to be broken up inside the soup. Just stirring like that. Already the noodles are getting soft and the smell is wonderful in here. Now we're gonna go in with the asparagus. Asparagus don't take long to cook as well, and that's why I'm leaving it for the end. Some asparagus. We're gonna go in with those peppery, pretty radish. Perfect. That was 3 peas. And some jalapenos. I'm gonna save a couple jalapenos just for the end. Like that. Give it another little twirl. This is really a meal in itself. And I love noodles. And noodles and broth is really hearty and it will fill you up. And it's really quick. You know, you can just use some of the things that you have in your refrigerator and pantry. Now, we're at the end of it, so I'm gonna put in, of course, the tuna. And the tuna will take about 30 seconds and that is gonna be done. So, you just clean up a little bit of my board, push things over to the side. Perfect. I'm going to chop a lime, and I know lots of people have limes sitting around for their Coronas, so I know I always do. I'm just gonna get a couple of the wedges of the lime juice to squirt right at the end. Just like that. Really nice. Perfect. Now, let's check on those noodles. Oh yeah, you can see. Look at how beautiful the tuna has come up. It's gorgeous. It's still a little bit pink. I'm excited about this ramen noodles, but it's homemade ramen noodles. It's not just your average pack. And I can see that the egg is now cooked, which is what I want. I'm just gonna take this and pile it into my bowl. And don't worry about the juice because you actually want the broth. So put it down in the bowl like that. Perfect. And try and get some of those vegetables that you worked hard to chop. Get the coriander, get the radishes, get the onions. More just like that. Get some of that broth. Go right in there. Look at all that. Wow. And now I'm even going for more. I'm going big today. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna turn off the heat and then carefully add some of the broth, Be very careful. If you're holding the pot with lots of water, you want to take 2 hands. Let's get your beautiful broth. Look at that. That is heaven. Final touches. The coriander, cilantro. Get that in and put that off to the side like that. It's really pretty. It looks like something you would get in a Vietnamese restaurant, and you did it yourself. A couple of slices of the jalapeno. Really pretty. Some of the chilies. My mouth is going to be on fire tonight. And the lime wedges as well, plus a nice final squeeze. And then just to decorate, a couple of these beautiful lime wedges. And I know that everyone doesn't have all of these ingredients in their kitchen and pantry. Most people have onions, most people have eggs, most people have soy sauce, and those noodles. So go ahead and experiment and make the ramen noodles yourself. College kids rejoice. I really hope that you give it a try. Enjoy.